Welcome back, adventurer. Today we'll be taking a look at our minds through a broken mirror shard, and who knows what we'll find. In this meditation, we'll be continuing our practice of clarity. Since we began, we've learned how to focus our body and mind on a single object of focus, on an anchor for our attention. And this alone can offer a great deal more clarity in our lives. By reducing stimulus and practicing patience and dedication with our attention, we soothe our nervous system, which allows us to move with more clarity and ease. So, in many ways, these practices of clarity are just an extension of our practices of concentration. But there are also benefits to paying dedicated attention to the contents of your own mind. For many of us, our brains never shut off. At least, not unless we're sleeping or heavily sedated or something. I think that in an attention economy, like the one that we're in, where advertisements and notifications and apps compete for our attention pretty much every spare moment we've got, that a lot of us have a hard time even getting our minds to slow down. The good news is that our brains are, generally speaking, pretty good at going on autopilot. I mean, we may feel really stressed out and overwhelmed, but a lot of us are also finding ways to survive the grind. We wake up and manage to eat some food, do some other things, maybe interact with other people or creatures, and continue the cycle. But without creating moments of reflection, without pausing now and then to consider why we're doing what we're doing, what motivates us, and whether our actions might be against our alignment, we run the risk of just drifting through our lives, allowing other people or corporations to make our choices for us. I'll be honest in saying that thinking for yourself is not easy. At least it isn't for me. I think many of us like to believe that we are thinking for ourselves, that we make our own choices, that we are responsible for our successes. But all of our choices and opportunities are, at least in some part, also shaped by how we have been conditioned to think and feel. If someone we trust asks us to kidnap an ice wizard, we may follow along with their request, even if we don't understand why. Or if we see a Coke billboard on our commute, then when we're feeling sad or stressed at work, we may find ourselves standing longingly in front of a vending machine. I want to be clear that I don't mean any of this with a spirit of judgment. I think that it's also dangerous to pretend that there is something better about being a self-made man or a self-determined person with an iron will. It seems rather impossible that this is even something that a person can be, given how much of our lives are wrapped up in one another and in our shared environment. At least for myself, I am continually trying to pay more attention to the ways in which I am influenced by the world around me, how my choices are affected by others, and how my choices affect them in turn. So this is not about taking singular control of your own destiny or anything like that. Practicing clarity is just about paying closer attention, about becoming clear on what you're doing and why you're doing it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with enjoying a Coke. But it is different to have a Coke because you are feeling bad for reasons outside of your control and a company is happy to profit off your difficult feelings than it is to have a Coke while celebrating at a party for a friend, or even just because you've thought about it and you've decided that a Coke actually sounds really great to you right now. Practicing clarity is about paying attention to what our minds drift to, how consistently and how strongly. Just as we learned to sit and know we're sitting, when practicing the skill of clarity, we learn to think and know we're thinking. We learn to pay attention to our own thoughts. In turn, this can also allow us to pay closer attention to our own environments. This might seem strange, but the more clarity you begin to find in relation to your own mind, the more you begin to realize that your mind is sitting inside of your body, which is always inside a particular place or room or environment. We might call this quality mindfulness, becoming more aware of what is real. And when we lack mindfulness, we are more likely to cause harm, even when we aren't trying to. We may not notice that our beard flakes are causing an outbreak of freezer burn flu. I truly believe that a great many of us, perhaps all of us, are not intending to cause harm with our actions. But when we are living our lives entirely on autopilot, when we don't know how to practice becoming aware of what we're thinking and doing as we go about our day, then it is very likely that we will remain unaware of the harm that we cause. In the midst of all of this, I encourage you to welcome whatever you find rather than rushing to change it. Many of us are very attached to problem-solving things that we don't like, or trying to deny or suppress or avoid them. And those strategies may work in the short term. Some of them may even be necessary. But real change takes a long time. Our brains have a certain measure of neuroplasticity. That is, our brains have a bit of plasticness and the ability to change neural pathways and associations. But changing these patterns takes a lot of repetition and patience to really sink in. Practicing meditation definitely allows us to practice this, but this is not a quick fix, because there is no quick fix. But by practicing clarity, we become more honest about what is really going on in our experience, and create more opportunities to recognize when our way of thinking isn't serving us well. All right, that's enough of my rambling. Let's give it a go. So we begin by finding a comfortable posture, whatever that means to you, whatever it looks like for your body today. Seated, standing, lying down, doesn't matter, just take several deep breaths as you arrive here in this shape. You can even let out a sigh or a moan for a couple of these breaths, just shaking off the surface tension of your body. And when you find a position that's comfortable, gently commit to it. You can move or adjust as you need. That's not wrong. There's no getting this wrong. But see how content you can be in whatever shape feels cozy right now. And when you're ready, bring your attention to your anchor point. I'll use the breath, but whatever you use is fine. And let your attention rest there. Of course, your mind will wander. Get up and walk around. When you notice that, perfect. You can gently smile or shrug it off. Let it go as gently as possible. And bring it back to your anchor. If you want and it feels good, you can introduce some counting in time with the breath, or whatever pace feels good to you if you're using a different anchor. Great. That's great. And if this feels good, just continue letting your attention rest in concentration. Coming back to your object of focus as many times as you need. This is its own form of clarity. But if you feel up to it, allow your mind to relax even more, not even focusing on that anchor point. Instead, shifting focus of your attention to your thoughts themselves. Watching them as they move, like ants crawling along the ground, or clouds drifting across the sky. Sometimes they may stand still or kind of stick. They may be very big and loud, impossible to ignore. Or they may be quiet, far away. Again, the goal is not to change these things, just notice them. If you become maybe confused or a little too lost, you can always come back to your anchor of focus, a home base. Otherwise, just allow your attention to observe your thoughts. And it's okay to go back and forth like that, moving from your anchor to your thoughts, back to your anchor. Whatever feels good and easy for you. If you'd like to, you can introduce some noting. And again, noting is just a simple word, a phrase, a label, a name for the thoughts that you observe. Neck tension, boredom, uncertainty. Am I doing this right? Am I doing this wrong? Maybe that's insecurity, confusion. The name or word or label you choose doesn't matter all that much. We're just interested in devoting a little bit of attention to your relationship between yourself and the thoughts that are coming up for you. Be as tender and gentle with this as you can be. When we name these thoughts, we're not trying to chase them away. We're also not trying to make them bigger. We're just noticing them. Hello. I see you. Fidgety energy in my hands. I see you. Thinking about that thing he said earlier today. I see you. It's okay to feel confused or overwhelmed. Sometimes our thoughts seem really loud, really constant, especially if we've never given this a try before, or not too many times. And that's okay. There's no getting it wrong. If you're feeling this, you can label it confusion, overwhelm, anxiety. And of course, if it's too much, you can drift back to that anchor, feeling your breath or your heartbeat or whatever else feels good to you. It's okay for this to feel challenging or disorienting, but it shouldn't feel too bad, too painful. So as you're checking in with the quality of your own attention, see if there's an adjustment you need to feel safe and supported. If not, and you're feeling good, okay, you can note that. Content. Stable. You don't have to catch it right at the beginning. We're not diligently looking out over the horizon for what's going to come up next. We're just greeting it as it arrives to us. So the energy is not anticipation, just one of gentle welcome. That's great. You're doing great. Just a little bit longer. Checking in with your body and your mind to see what's there. You can take a few more deep breaths if it feels good to you. Transitioning out of this time with ease and gentleness. Fantastic. And I invite you to come back into the room in whatever way feels good to you. Maybe putting your hands over your eyes, or giving your face a gentle massage, or maybe a full body shake. Transitioning in and out of paying attention to your mind can be challenging. When you're noting these things, you can discover difficult patterns or thoughts that you had never really noticed, never given much attention to. A lot of us know that we feel some anxiety, but we may not know the exact shape of it. And this practice of clarity can sometimes reveal things to us that are hard to sit with at first. But identifying the nature of our thoughts is a part of the complicated journey of welcoming them and embracing them and changing them. Many of us who come to meditation do so because we have a kind of aggressive or challenging relationship with our own minds. But over time, with practice, this quality of attention may transmute our hatred into something more. As always, I am grateful you have taken this time to be with yourself. May you move through your day with a little bit more clarity, and I look forward to being with you again soon. Till next time.